Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, it's a new season and I've given you a trick in the previous video. This is a continuation of that trick, and trust me, you're gonna love this trick. It's gonna do wonders, magic for you this new season. So the trick is, if you want the kickoff glitch to work, you need to train your attackers in a certain way. If you want the kickoff glitch to work, you need to train your attackers in a certain way, and I'm going to show you how exactly you have to train the attackers. But before I talk about it, let's do a little recap of the previous video. So in the previous video, we talked about GK, goalkeeper reach, which is very important if you want to be doing back-to-back clean sheets. The GK reach should be low. Okay, GK reach should be low, meaning that you need tall goalkeepers. If you have tall goalkeepers, you don't need to focus much on GK reach. You just increase GK1 and GK3 only. If you have short goalkeepers, that is where you need to increase the reach. And I explained this into details in the previous video. So let's talk about this particular video, which is the true passing and passing technique. That's 2-in-1. So basically, when you are in your defense, when you are at the defense, you don't need to be given true passes. But when you are attacking, that is where you need to be given true passes. So this is a very simple formula you need to follow. In your defense, and I've already spoken about this in previous video, in your defense, your defenders don't need kicking power. Just reduce the kicking power to the lowest for your defenders. So kicking power changes two things. It changes the effect of passing and effect of true passing. If it makes your passing very fast, it's going to make your opponent intercept the ball. So for passing, you don't want the kicking power to be high. That is why your defenders and midfielders. So listen very carefully as I explain exactly what you have to do. So what you must do is simple. For your defenders and midfield, make sure they have very low kicking power. For your attackers, that is left winger forward, right winger forward, and CF, increase their kicking power. For left winger forward, right winger forward, and CF, that are the only set of 3 people that you need to increase their kicking power. Now let me explain why you need to increase the kicking power for them. Kicking power does 3 things. First and foremost, it increases the passing, it also increases true passing, and it also increases how fast the player is going to shoot. And I've explained in the previous video that you don't want to be loading a high power shot when you're in front of the pole. If you load high power shots when you're in front of the pole, you would miss the opportunity. So since you are increasing the kicking power for your left winger forward, right winger forward, and CF, when you are shooting, you have to make sure that you'd really decrease the kicking power. Okay, now let's talk about how it affects true passing. For true passing, when the players have high kicking power, it increases how far they can send their true passes. Okay, so you would notice that in this particular match, I would be playing lots of true passes because I've increased the kicking power for these 3 players, CF, left winger forward, and right winger forward. I've increased their kicking power. Also, you can just increase kicking power and you would get the effect of the true passing you want for your strikers. But if you have the relevant skills like true passing, weighted pass, one-touch pass, not one-touch pass, but true passing and weighted pass, it's going to do wonders for your true passing. So let me repeat what I just said. For true passing, you need high kicking power, but there are certain players you don't need a high kicking power since you won't use true passing on them, like your center backs. Your center backs, you won't use them to give true passes, but the people you'd use true passing on are your left winger forward, right winger forward, and CF. That is why you need to increase that kicking power. When you increase kicking power, it also increases how fast they would pass the ball. But for your defenders, you don't want them to be passing the ball very, very fast because it would allow your opponent to intercept. Okay, the people you need to increase the kicking power for are the attackers: left winger forward, right winger forward, CF and AMF. The AMF is very, very important. If you've watched the video up to this point, you need to know that AMF is also important, because the AMF is the person that we would use to give the true pass to the left winger forward with our kickoff glitch. So if you've seen the kickoff glitch at the start of the video, you'd notice that I use the CF and then I give a normal pass to the AMF, and then the AMF I use a very quick true pass. So yes, if you want the true pass to be very, very effective, that AMF should have high kicking power alongside the necessary skills. Okay, it's very, very simple. And if you are increasing kicking power, you have to take in mind that you have to be giving true passes a lot. You can't increase kicking power and be giving normal passes, else your opponent will be intercepting the ball. When you increase kicking power, make sure that you give true passes very, very much. And when you have high kicking power, you have to also decrease the power of shots you load. Just do these two things and you are gonna annihilate every opponent you're gonna come across. So the link to download the first patch in the first video, the patch is inside the Telegram channel, so join the Telegram channel. For this particular one, I decided not to use the patch, and let's see how this particular match goes. Anyways, the patch is very, very fantastic. If you want to test it, it's inside the Telegram channel. Make sure you join the Telegram channel, because sometimes I don't post everything on the YouTube. Sometimes I prefer to write and text instead of making a video or tutorial. So as you can see, the play settings used here is semi-auto, and I'm using pressure, defend, and just pressure. Sometimes I'll use matchup, but I don't want to confuse you in how to defend with semi-auto. I don't want to confuse you, so what I would advise is you just watch how I'm using it. Okay, I'm not going to explain much about it, just watch, and then from how you see that I'm using it, you can just practice it on your own. It's kind of easy to use semi-auto. And so let's do a short recap and then we continue with this video. So up to this point, I started by saying that goalkeepers are very, very important. If you want to do clean sheets, goalkeepers, and your goalkeepers need to be very, very tall. And when they are tall, you don't need to increase their reach, and I've explained it into details in the video before this. I'm using David Seaman. The video before this video, you'd see a training guide. Now we moved on to talking about kicking power. Kicking power has effects, that is three effects on the person, on true person, and the kicking power. But you don't want the person to be very, very fast, so you don't increase kicking power for your defenders, center backs, and even your DMF. You don't increase that kicking power, and even your goalkeeper. But you want the true person to be very, very fast, so you increase kicking power for your right winger forward, left winger forward, and CF and AMF. That is your attackers. And when you increase their kicking power, it means that true person will be very, very fast. So what you have to do is do a lot of true passes instead of normal passes, else there won't be any beneficial use to you. Because if you increase kicking power and you are giving normal passes, you won't really notice the effect. It will just increase the passing speed. But if you really want to know or see the effects of the kicking power you are increasing, just give lots of true passing and make sure you have the necessary skills. For the necessary skills, basically you need true passing and weighted pass, but we'll talk more about that in the Telegram channel. So make sure you've joined. Smash that like button as well. And we are 1-0 up in this particular match. And there is one thing I talked about inside the Telegram group, that is using 30 FPS. If you are losing a lot, change from 60 FPS and try and use 30 FPS, because 60 FPS delays some of your action. Okay, it delays some of your action, and as you can see, that is another kickoff glitch. It's so easy. When you master the kickoff glitch, you just gonna score lots of goals with this. And it's not about just mastering it, it's about increasing the kicking power. And when you increase kicking power, it's going to make the true pass very faster. And we have another chance to make it 4-0 again. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you do it. So if you've enjoyed this video, if you've really enjoyed this video, then I think you should check out the previous videos on the channel. Make sure you smash the like, share to your friends, and I'm gonna see you in the next video, probably next month. I don't know when I'll post the next video. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.